Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Here. In this video, I am going to predict the 2019 NFL postseason and Super Bowl 54. So please don't forget to subscribe and share this video with friends and family. Last year when I did my playoff predictions for the 2018 season, I had the New Orleans Saints defeating the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl 53. But instead, we got the New England Patriots versus the Rams, and the Patriots won that Super Bowl 13-3. And here's to a great season, everybody. Let's get into it. The wild card rounds. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. The off-season darling will live up to the hype for their first postseason berth since 2002 and their first division title since 1989. The Cleveland Browns' explosive offense is led by Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham Jr., and Jarvis Landry will take the Browns to new levels. Meanwhile, Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers prove that they don't need Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown this season, and giving the Steelers a new fresh start in securing a wildcard berth. Oddly enough, the Browns' last playoff game was in 2002 and was a wildcard loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers with a score of 36-33. The Cleveland Browns defense will disrupt the passing game all day long for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and leading the Cleveland Browns to a fabulous victory of 24-21. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Houston Texans. This will be the first ever playoff meeting for these two teams and the first time Rivers versus Watson showdown. The last time they did face each other in the regular season was back in the 2016 season, and the Chargers won that game 21-13. Even though the Texans have home field advantage for this game, the Chargers are the better team overall. Philip Rivers will expose the Texans secondary with a great receiving duo of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I absolutely think this will be a great game. And the Chargers will advance with a road win in the wildcard round with a final score of 24-17. The Seattle Seahawks versus the Philadelphia Eagles. This will mark the first ever playoff meeting for these two teams. Russell Wilson is 3-0 in his career against the Eagles, and Carson Wentz has faced Russell Wilson 2 times in his career and losing both of those games. The last time they did face each other in the regular season was back in 2017 when the Seahawks won that game 24-10. But this showdown will have a very different outcome. This game will mostly be an offensive game and neither defense will be able to do a lot. But ultimately, it's hard to bet against a team that won a Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. And I absolutely think this game will be a close game. The Eagles will advance with a 27-24 victory over the Seahawks. The Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. The Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers have met each other 199 times, and with the Packers winning 98 games and the Bears winning 95 games. And they have also tied 6 times. The Packers and the Bears open up the 100th anniversary season of the NFL on Thursday Night Football, and the Green Bay Packers won that game 10-3 over the Chicago Bears. That was such a fabulous defensive game by both teams, but the Packers showed that their new-look defense is not to be messed with. So it would be fitting if they met again in the playoffs. After consecutive losing and non-playoff seasons, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers will be back with full force in 2019. New head coach Matt LaFleur will help Aaron Rodgers build a successful offense that will most likely take the lead by storm, and the Packers' defense will do their thing by keeping them in close games. The last time that the Packers and the Bears met in the postseason was back in the 2010 season on January 23rd of 2011 in the NFC Championship game, with the Packers winning that game 21-14. But can Aaron Rodgers and the Packers get past a defense that allowed the fewest points last season? It's tough to bet against the Chicago Bears defense after all, but Aaron Rodgers is incredibly difficult to beat him on his home turf. But the Bears defense will keep this game close throughout the game. I absolutely think this game will be a great defensive game overall. The Packers will advance with a 20-13 victory over the Bears. The divisional rounds. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. These two AFC West rivals have only met in the postseason once, and that was back on January 2nd of 1993, and the Chargers won that game 17-0. Last season, the Chiefs and the Chargers had the best 2 records in the AFC. So here we go again. Philip Rivers and Patrick Mahomes split the season series last year, and they promised to deliver another epic quarterback matchup in the postseason. No defense could really stop Patrick Mahomes on his MVP season last year, but the Chargers certainly had the playmakers on defense to keep him in check. I certainly think both defenses will make a handful of big plays in this game, and the Chiefs' new-look defense will be better equipped by not making costly mistakes. The Chiefs will advance to the AFC Championship game with a final score of 30-27 over the Chargers. The Cleveland Browns versus the New England Patriots. Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns will have taken their first step by winning their first playoff game during the wild card round. Now the Cleveland Browns will have to try and knock off a juggernaut New England Patriots team who is aiming for their fourth straight Super Bowl appearance. These two teams have only met once in the postseason, and that was back on January 1st in 1995, and the Browns won that game 20-13. Could Baker Mayfield and the Browns upset Tom Brady and the Patriots dynasty and begin a dynasty of their own in Cleveland? Nope, it's too early. But that can happen in the future for Baker Mayfield and the Browns. Bill Belichick would be really happy on beating his old team, the Browns, in the playoffs. He did coach them for 4 seasons from 1992 to 1995. I suspect the Patriots defense will keep Baker Mayfield in check for this game. And the Patriots earned their 9th straight AFC Championship game appearance with a win over the Browns 34-14. The Green Bay Packers versus the New Orleans Saints. This will be the first ever postseason meeting between the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints. The last time these two teams faced each other in the regular season was back in 2017, and the Saints won that game 26-17. Finally, Aaron Rodgers versus Drew Brees in a playoff game. I can't wait to see this game. Obviously, the New Orleans Saints are sick of heartbreaking postseason losses. First, Minneapolis Miracle, and then the terrible no pass interference call in the NFC Championship game against the Rams. The Saints' dominant front seven should get to Aaron Rodgers and disrupt the passing game, and will get the Packers' offense out of rhythm. The Packers' defense will give them a fighting chance, but Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and Alvin Kamara will just do enough to help the Saints earn another trip to the NFC Championship game. The Saints will advance to the NFC Championship game with a final score of 24-21 over the Packers. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Los Angeles Rams. This game will be a battle of the top 2 picks from the 2016 NFL Draft. This game might be personal to Carson Wentz because he tore his ACL in a road game against the Los Angeles Rams in 2017 that ended on what should have been an MVP season. Nick Foles took the starting quarterback job and led the Eagles to a Super Bowl win in 2018 when Carson Wentz watched from the sidelines. The last postseason matchup between these two teams was in 2002, and the Rams won that game 29-24. The Eagles, led by Nick Foles, stormed into LA in Week 15 last season and came away with a 30-23 victory over the Rams. The Eagles' elite O-line should be able to keep Aaron Donald in check, and that would help Carson Wentz and his tremendous receiving crew to expose the Rams' secondary. The Eagles will advance to the NFC Championship game with a 34-20 victory over the Rams. The Conference Championships. The New England Patriots versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Same teams, same face, same event, same result. The Kansas City Chiefs and most NFL fans are hoping not. The last time these two teams faced each other in the playoffs was back in last year's AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs scored 31 second-half points and were on the verge of reaching their first Super Bowl appearance in half a century. But Dee Ford's costly offside penalty abolished a game-ending interception off Tom Brady. And the Patriots went on to win in overtime and are route to their 6th Super Bowl championship in franchise history. The Kansas City Chiefs' crushing loss to the Patriots cost a lot of people their jobs. Defensive coordinator Bob Sutton was fired, and franchise favorites named Justin Houston and Eric Berry were released. Dee Ford was traded to the San Francisco 49ers, and the Chiefs brought in Frank Clark and Tyrann Mathieu to replace their departing veterans. The Chiefs' new-look defense will be a lot better, and Patrick Mahomes won't be shut out for an entire half on his home turf again. This time, the Kansas City Chiefs will redeem themselves by advancing to the Super Bowl with a 27-24 victory over the Patriots. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the New Orleans Saints. The Saints barely beat the Eagles in the NFC Divisional Round game last year with a score of 20-14. The Philadelphia Eagles were on the verge of pulling off a big upset. Nick Foles threw a pass that was intended for Alshon Jeffrey, but was intercepted by Marshawn Lattimore for the game-ending pick. This time, the Eagles will be led by Carson Wentz, who had missed the postseason last year because of a back injury. On paper, these two teams are evenly matched, but it's hard to bet against the Saints on their home turf. They have only lost one home playoff game in the Sean Payton and Drew Brees era. The one game they did lose at home was the terrible no pass interference call in the NFC Championship game against the LA Rams. I think this game will be a roller coaster game of emotions for both teams and will be a great game. This time, the New Orleans Saints will prevail with a 24-21 victory over the Eagles and sending the Saints back to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 54, the New Orleans Saints versus the Kansas City Chiefs. This should have been the Super Bowl 53 meeting last season, but yeah, the missed pass interference call and the D4 offside penalty. I even predicted last year that the Saints and Chiefs would meet in Super Bowl 53, but that didn't happen. The Saints and Chiefs will have both avenged their heartbreaking losses last season, and will set up a heroic showdown in Miami. This will be the first matchup between Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes, and the last time these two teams met in the regular season was back in 2016, and the Chiefs won that game 27-21. Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes fought hard for an MVP award, but Patrick Mahomes won the MVP award in a landslide. But Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes really don't care about individual awards. Patrick Mahomes would like to have his first Super Bowl reign that could be the first of many to come. Drew Brees would like to add a second Super Bowl reign before his fabulous career comes to an end. Both teams have a handful of key players on defense, but I see this game being all offense. It comes down to experience, and that would be a key here. And Drew Brees has obviously more than Patrick Mahomes. The Saints will break through and add a second Super Bowl to their trophy room with a 34-31 victory over the Chiefs. Drew Brees has his signature game and takes home Super Bowl MVP honors. Who do you think will win Super Bowl 54? Join me in the comment section below, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nathan Brown, and don't forget to just keep loving sports, and I'll see you next time.